It's time for a little bit of intellectual anarchy, where we engage in extreme truth, extreme common sense, and diversity of ideas. How's everyone doing today? Today we're going to talk about the State of the Union address. But don't... It's frustrating when a president misleads people, and that goes with both presidents, because they all over-exaggerate and straight lie during the State of the Union address to make themselves look good. But this time is extremely egregious because they were just straight out lies. And let me just go through them, because I don't want to take a long time to do this, quite frankly. And hey, if you are choosing me as some of your political commentary, I appreciate you and thank you. There's so many people you can choose from that are excellent, that I even listen to. And if you have chosen me and my perspective, I appreciate you watching. Press subscribe and be notified whenever I come up with a new video. But in saying that, there's just some obvious things. As we know, we have a border crisis, and most of Democrats now are not holding the water, the president for that, and the vice president. And, you know, we talked about fentanyl coming over the border. He mentioned that. And killing about 70,000 Americans a year. Fentanyl crossing over. Brought over by the cartels in Mexico, given to them by China, and he didn't mention those two, and that an open border, is allowing that to come over freely, as well as undocumented people, and as well as slaves. Human trafficking. We have about 8,000 people coming over a day over our border. And he has really ignored it since he started becoming president. And now he's tried to pawn off that he's all about it. And he's talking about amnesty for the dreamers. And I get that. People who are brought here by their own choice. But unless you close down that border, there will be a flood of people coming over claiming that they are the dreamers. They will. If you argue with me, I would enjoy this conversation if you didn't act like I was stupid. Okay? Because the fact of the matter is, if I could get streamline citizenship, and if I have people in America, I'm trying to get to America to get that free citizenship streamlined and say I'm a dreamer. Because part of the dreamers are their history is shady because they can't expose themselves fully to our society for the fear of being sent back. So if you can get some people to make up some documents and explain why you don't have this information, you always have the excuse of, I'm afraid of being sent back. You can get people. And just to be real, you would be stupid not to. If you're from Mexico and you can come over and you can go with an aunt and say that they brought you here, that my mom and dad brought me here and left me with my aunt, they went back, whatever reason, and get dreamer status, to get amnesty. Why wouldn't you do it? I would do it. Right? Whatever loophole the country has, that's an avenue for you. And he has already offering that without closing down the border, make them all get into a straight line. You ever been at the movie theater? And the line is all like wongly, and people can sort of cut, and you know, people get pissed off, and the guy has to come together and say, hey, everybody form a straight line, please. You're all just not going to walk in here, and all the teenagers, you know how teenagers are. They don't care about lines. And they're trying to cut in, and it's upsetting, right? I've known people, I straight known people who are undocumented, who went to the movies and someone cut in line and they got upset. It's natural to get upset over that, because of the sacrifice of you coming first and coming the right way and getting in line. It works in every other part of life, but suddenly at the border it doesn't work. He also said he created 12 million jobs. Labor statistics says around more like 3 million. Don't need to exaggerate. But if you shut down the economy because of COVID, of course, jobs are going to be built up. Donald Trump, before he left, he had the economy repairing itself. Joe Biden comes in, shuts the economy down again, and now he's bringing it up, and he's trying to get those numbers from zero to build, and claiming those numbers based upon his economical policy. Well, that's disingenuous, and that's basically a lie. Right now, and he didn't even talk about the participation rate. Right now, there's 2 million people who are not even participating in the economy because they're getting money not to work by the Democrats. That's just the truth. We would be in a much better better economy if Joe Biden just wasn't in office, and that's a fact. That's just a fact. I need to take a break. Hey everybody, it's James Salazar with James Salazar Media here. If I can just have a moment of your time to talk about some of my shows and some free things I have for you. First of all, on my YouTube channel, I have the Brightburn YouTube Academy, where we talk about mindsets and belief systems of what it means to be an entrepreneur. We also have the Intellectual Anarchy show, where we talk about politics, philosophy, and religion. I think they're inseparable from having a keen mind and intellect. We also have the James Salazar Media podcast, where we talk about pop culture, politics, and futurism. Some free things I have for you. I have the Brightburn Society Facebook group. Here you gather with like-minded people on the same journey you're on meeting your goal, fulfilling your dreams, and what it means to be an entrepreneur. I also have a free handout, an ebook called How to Be Great at Everything You Do Blueprint. And also, if you want me to come speak at your event, or you need some life coaching, you can find both these links in the James Salazar /SLING address, or take a picture of my QR code, and we'll all link you to all this stuff. So thank you for your time, and have a good day. Hey everybody, it's James. So let me round it up here. You know, all presidents do this. They over-exaggerate and lie. They just do. Because they're just not going to come up and say, hey, the State of the Union is pretty bad. Sorry. What are you going to do? You know, they're not going to do that. They're going to paint it in a way that is bad. Paint it in a way that's good. And one other agitating thing. He said Donald Trump spent more money than he has. And he's just taking at the beginning of the pandemic to when he came in office. Well, of course he did. We had to do some major government funding in creating a vaccine and making sure that people are being taken care of, and money given to the hospitals. But Joe Biden has spent more money up until that point. We had the pandemic, how much money Donald Trump spent, and now Joe Biden, what did he spend? He spent 3 times as much up until that moment, a pandemic. So there's a lot of disingenuous, just being disingenuous and straight out lying and over exaggerating. He's talking about wages going up And people are just not feeling that. And he didn't give any statistic to show that's a fact. So there's a lot of things that, and it worries me. I don't care. I'm not putting the blame on him. I just want him to realize what is happening. That's it. He can choose some democratic mentality of how to deal with it. That's fine. But not acknowledging what is really happening means that it's going to get worse for us. You know, Bill Clinton came into office. He did a lot of programs that didn't work. And then he started to work with the Republicans, and he started to change. He became sort of crossing the aisle to get some Republican ideas, and the economy got better under him. It did. At the end, there was a .com bubble that could have been avoided by him, but I don't know. That's Monday night quarterbacking. But he acknowledged that all these liberal ideas that I'm trying to push through are not working right now, so I need to pull back and ask Republicans for help, and if it still stays bad, I'll blame the Republicans. Pretty smart. But Joe Biden is not even acknowledging what is wrong. And he could say, well, we're going to put more money into the economy, fine, because I realize that the economy is slowing down and inflation's too high. He's refusing to acknowledge that inflation's high. How could he, right? Because people are buying his food and cooking it for him in the White House, right? He doesn't have that connect. And mostly everybody. The Democratic Party is turning into a white, elitist, rich people group, party. And they're out of touch. They're not. Come to California and see how much shit cost. I just went to eat yesterday. Everything went up by $3. Went to this restaurant, a Mediterranean restaurant in the mall, one of the best ever. Sometimes the smallest things, the hidden things are better than some big old restaurant, right? Because sometimes they lose touch. But we go to this religiously. It's Mediterranean food, it's excellent, but everything went up $3. Everything went up $3. That's just inflation. And you got to acknowledge it to do better. We have all had different agreements on how to fix that. And probably if he acknowledged it, he might implement things to make it worse. But he's not even acknowledging what is wrong. And that is dangerous. And that makes me worried. So, that's what I thought about the State of the Union address. A lot of disconnect. A lot of sophistry. Not acknowledging China, the threat that it is. I mean, they're deliberately sending in fentanyl to kill Americans. That's their motives. I mean, they're a communist society. I mean, they're going to do things whether it's profitable or not. The cartels are sending it over because it's profitable. We are at war. We're in a cold war with China. And China is looking for a fight. And it's going to challenge us like Russia did in the past. They're going to challenge us in a space race for helium-3. They're going to challenge us by taking over Taiwan and the chips, computer chips. But we're stronger. And we are smarter when we choose to be, depending on who we have in office, because no one, up until the Russians, no one really spies better than us. No one is combat ready as much as us. Our soldiers have been in war for the last, since 9/11. Okay, that's 20 years ago. They've been constantly in some theater somewhere, being the police of the world, hunting down terrorists and training people. We have the most advanced, no matter how much China stole from us, we still are more advanced than them technologically and militarily. But it doesn't mean that lives won't be lost in a fight. And we need to show extreme strength that there is a price to pay to keep on pushing this. And this is not the president to show that. And they're going to gain ground and gain strength where a confrontation must be forced by them or us. So this is James Salazar signing out of the Intellectual Anarchy. Have a good one.